I'm gonna ask you just one question. Are you trying to buy a champagne lifestyle with a beer budget, my loves, mis amores? Like looking for a beachfront or like a super luxurious property, but you haven't even realized that you have a low budget for Riviera Maya? Let me tell you, you are not alone because there's a lot of people with that same situation. So, welcome back to our 12 live. Today, we are doing something a little bit different. Instead of showing you the walkthrough of some opportunity properties that we normally do, all of our previous lives, this day we're talking about something that actually matters even more when you are buying here, so that you can align your expectations with the reality of the market. So, for those of you who are for the first time here and don't know us, I'm Carla Torres. I'm the CEO of Amor Amar. And with me is Brandy Fry. We are both licensed realtors here in Riviera Maya with all access to all the different properties from Cancún, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, all the way to Bacalar. And we are here to help you in your process of buying a property here in Riviera Maya. So, Brandy, let's talk about the misinformation that first-time buyers have when buying in Riviera Maya.
Yes. So something that happens to us often is we will have our first contact with clients and they say, I want a 2-bedroom condo, beach views, ocean views, walking distance to the beach. I want to be close to restaurants, cafes, and I have a budget of $200,000. So I mean, a $200,000 isn't a bad budget. That is still an amazing budget. The problem is the two big reasons we're hearing this is the misinformation.
Yeah.
So one, there's no centralized MLS system here in Mexico or in the Riviera Maya. So there's often duplicate listings, there's outdated prices, and there's incorrect information that you're finding online when you're beginning your search.
Exactly.
And the second thing that is misinformation is the conception that Mexico is cheap.
I know everybody thinks Mexico is the cheapest coming from North America. And yes, Mexico is cheap in many ways. You have a cost of living, property tax, healthcare, quality of life. But when talking about real estate, that is a complete different conversation, and especially if we're talking about prime real estate here in Riviera Maya.
Of course, because we're in the Caribbean, you're buying a coastal property, you're buying a lifestyle, and there's a specific price point that comes with that, especially when we're talking about beachfront or ocean views. So it's not necessarily about something being overpriced. It's about understanding what the market here actually is.
Exactly. Now, one very important thing to understand is that if your budget is not flexible, your expectations have to be flexible.
100%.
It's true. So at the end, let's give some examples, Brandy.
Of course. So as an example, if you're gonna prioritize having a beach view and you want a 2-bedroom condo, maybe in your budget you can be close to the beach, but we need to be looking at 1-bedroom opportunities. Or if you really want to prioritize your space and being close to the beach or in like the touristic zone isn't a huge priority for you, we can take a look across the highway and find some really great opportunities there that come in at a bigger size.
And also there's a lot of misconception on being on the other side of the highway. Let's say, for example, in Playa del Carmen. No, but I won't be walking distance to the beach. I'm completely out of the zone, so I don't want it. No, being on the other side of the highway, actually, we do have clients that have a higher budget that they could definitely afford, like the downtown Playa del Carmen walking distance to the beach, but they prefer going to the other side of the highway because it's more authentic, because you can get a gated community, you can get better amenities, because you have like these little spots, taco spot, or supermarkets, whatever, that for lifestyle thing people love it.
Yeah,
right?
there's definitely still a lot of value on the other side of the highway for sure.
Now, let's talk about the micro markets, Brandy.
So that is another thing. Here in the Riviera Maya, it's a large space. You have Cancun, Puerto Morelos, Tulum, Playa del Carmen. So another thing to understand is that they're not just different locations, but they're actually completely different markets.
Yeah.
So with the same budget, what you could get in Cancun versus Tulum are going to be completely different.
Exactly. We actually do have a video. It was a webinar that we did together that is called Destination Matchmaker, where we explain the difference in infrastructure, demographics, what you can get in terms of lifestyle, everything that you need to know in between the different micro markets, which are the destination, so that you can understand how different can you get with the same budget something in Playa versus something in Tulum that we're going to explain in a moment with some examples, with the example of your client, right?
Of course, yes.
Now, very important to understand the pricing here in Quintana Roo, or the fundamentals of demand in Quintana Roo. First of all, you have to know the macro perspective, right? We have a lot of tourism. We have more than 30 million visitors per year. Cancun Airport is the second busiest airport in Mexico. Population, in terms of population, we have a lot of people coming in every day, people from different big cities of Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, but also from US, North America, or other parts of the world, making it one of the fastest growing states. Quintana Roo is one of the fastest growing states in all Mexico. Also, at the end, well, you have the physical location that you already talked about. It's not the same one beach area to the other. We're talking about the Caribbean, okay, turquoise water. Hi, Titan. Welcome to our life. Okay, and also about the infrastructure, up and coming projects that are coming into the Quintana Roo Mayan train, Tulum airport. That it's both of them are already done, but other projects that the government is bringing. And at the end, the macroeconomic factor. This is a dollarized in certain sections of Quintana Roo. It's completely dollarized. So you have USD prices, which obviously gives a lot of benefits for foreign buyers.
And that's another important thing to know, especially for Canadian buyers. Everything here is going to either be sold in pesos or in USD, like Carla just mentioned. And sometimes there's a huge difference between the Canadian dollar and the American dollar. So that's something to always take into consideration.
So from this video, you will get a lot of value. We will share some data, like the one that we're going to put right now.
So here is a little snapshot of what pricing is looking like in just 3 of the different destinations. We have Tulum, Playa, and Cancun, and different types of property. So like luxury property to like entry level property, what the price per square meter is going to look like, or per square feet is going to look like. So now's a perfect opportunity to take a quick screenshot. But this generally just gives you an idea of how your specific budget will work for you in different areas and what you can generally expect when purchasing a property in the different areas.
Exactly. Let me make it bigger. So at the end, we are just comparing 3 markets. You know that there's a lot more markets here in Riviera Maya, but just for you to have an idea, obviously in a private session, we will explain a lot deeper. But in general terms, we see right now that Tulum is in a market correction, so you will have a lot more opportunity prices. The entry level is lower than, for example, Cancun, that it's a more established area, that it has some gated communities that will have a very ultra luxury prices too. So at the end, we divide it into ultra luxury, premium, mid range, and entry level. You can see it right here. And you can see that in terms of price per square meter, it will range from $900 per square meter, which is like around $84 per square feet, up to, if we go to Cancun, for example, on the ultra luxury, you will find around 7,500 US dollars up to 1100. No, sorry,
Yeah.
I got confused. Sorry. Okay, so from $900 per square meter, which is around $84 per square feet, up to $11,500 per square meter, which is around 1,068 US dollars per square feet. I missed there, it's square feet in this part right here, okay? I don't know if you see it. All right, so at the end,
We actually have a real life example. So I had a client that when they arrived, they had done research on their own. They were looking in Playa del Carmen specifically. We actually have some quick photos to do a comparison.
okay.
So they were looking in Playa del Carmen. They really wanted to prioritize spacious living room, dining room spaces with really great views. And we found a really great opportunity in Playa del Carmen. It was actually one of the listings that we showed in one of our past lives. So great opportunity. But the views, when you're located in Playa, it is a big city. You're gonna have city views. And those just weren't the views that my clients were looking for. So its own private rooftop with a plunge pool. So that's just kind of an example of when you prioritize the things that are the most important to you, how you're able to get different things in different markets.
In different markets, exactly. Yeah. So at the end, if we go back to this logic that you can, as I said, take a screenshot, something, because with this we can summarize that. If you have, for example, from 150,000 US dollars up to $200,000, you will be able to afford maybe studios or small units, obviously not beachfront, in emerging areas. Or also, if you go on the other side of the highway, yes, maybe you can get bigger condos, two-bedroom condos, but it's in the other area. Then, for example, for a $250,000 to 350,000 US dollar, you can get maybe downtown, two very close to the beach, two-bedroom condos, good locations, not beachfront yet. Okay. If we go to the $400,000 range up to $600,000, you will get larger units, some ocean views. Here is important because some people are asking a lot for that, ocean views. And this is the entry level for beachfront. We can actually find in Puerto Morelos some beachfront units at this price. Then, if you go $700,000 and up, you will find through beachfront some really exclusive properties. You can find really amazing villas, okay, and obviously up $2 million and up, then you'll find amazing beachfront villas, right?
Yeah, of course.
So all of this will give you an idea of the expectations.
Of course. And I feel like this is why it is so important to be working
With a licensed broker.
Yeah.
It's true. So working with a licensed broker here in Riviera Maya is very important because remember, as we told you, there is no centralized system. So a lot of value that we bring to the table is on the research, on the verification, and on the relationships that we build with our network of brokers, okay, and developers and sellers, of course.
Of course, yeah. So we're doing a lot of time is actually spent behind the scenes. So we're verifying listings, we're filtering out the information or the misinformation. And like you just said, we're tapping into those networks to find the right opportunities because there isn't that centralized MLS system here. So real estate's done a little bit different here than in the rest of North America.
Because it's funny how So it's funny how people come in, right, and say like, oh yeah, Brandy, send me everything that you have. I'm here, I want to buy, but I don't have a clear budget or anything, being on an early stage. What do you think about that, Brandy?
I mean, like Carla mentioned earlier, we have access to the entire inventory here in the Riviera Maya, top to bottom, from Cancun down to Bacalar. And like we've mentioned, they're all individually different markets. So to send you everything, not that we couldn't because we don't have access, it's just super inefficient way for us to work with you.
Exactly. And you will get completely overwhelmed and confused. And if a broker does that for you, the reality is that he's not doing a good work. Don't think like, oh, he's the only one that is sending me everything on the market. He's just confusing you. So it's not the way we like to work, because we are not like Google. If you want to do that, it's better to type on Google, this budget, and maybe you will start to see. But if you are on a different stage, which is the stage closer to find the opportunity that you like, you will have to know already what are you looking for, your budget, what's your lifestyle, know the area, etc. So this is where working with us feels very intentional. Actually, we always like to start with a call.
Yes.
That is super important. This is the first step, because we really want to feel you. We really want to understand your needs, your priorities, your lifestyle, if your budget is flexible or not, or if your priorities are flexible or not. And this way we can identify the top opportunities.
Yeah, so then we're able to narrow down what your top priorities are. So, and what matters most to you, because not everything matters the most, like we saw earlier with the example of the client. So that way we're able to focus in on those one or two things that are the most important to you and provide you with listings that are making sense.
Exactly. Guys, so I want you to read the questions that they sent us since the last live. I'm sorry that last live we didn't tell you that there was not going to be a live, but it was Easter, guys. I didn't even know the date, so I just canceled the live. But what are the questions that they sent us?
Okay, so I actually have a question from today. Someone is saying, why does one place look amazing for the price and then something similar is like double? What am I not seeing?
Okay, Brandy, you answer that question.
So again, with purchasing somewhere you're not maybe the most familiar with, the differences is probably going to be the difference in location. Obviously, the closer you are located to the beach generally does better for return on investment. If you're looking to use it for rentals, that's where tourists, vacationers want to be. Build quality comes into it there, and then of course just other like hidden factors that you as a foreigner, someone that's not here in the Riviera Maya, wouldn't be able to necessarily pick up on.
Exactly. And the other question that they sent us?
And then the other one is, let me just see it here, is, okay. So they're saying they want location, space, and a good price, but I'm realizing I probably can't have all three. How do you usually help decide? Okay, so essentially you're just picking what matters the most to you and what you're willing to trade off on. It's like super simple.
Yeah. Continue. No, I'm just putting a QR.
Yeah, it's just really what matters most to you. And like when it comes down to it and you really are sitting with that question and thinking about it, most people are able to come up with the answer on their own. So are you willing to give up a bedroom to be walking distance to the beach? Are you willing to give up a view to be in the city that you feel like most matches with your lifestyle?
Exactly. So yeah, you have to compromise something from your priority list. At the end, we always, from 3 or 4 priorities, there's always one priority that is going to be more important than others. So it's all about, okay, it's okay to have expectations, really high expectations with a low budget. That's how almost everyone arrives at first here in Riviera Maya. So it's just a process. So if you are in an early stage, and I'm gonna put this one here, forgive me the design, I should. Okay, so if you are in the early stages of buying in Riviera Maya, we will love to help you and send you the information that you need for your early stage. If you have no idea of how the prices are in Playa del Carmen versus Tulum, we can send you, hey, look, these are some of the properties that we posted because we think it's really good. And then after a while of studying, maybe, I don't know, 1, 2 weeks, 1 month, or 2 months, or whatever, and that you have a definite budget and needs, then you come with us, text us, we'll do a call with you, we'll know exactly what you're looking for, and we will save you so much time by curating the properties that you will like. We won't send you anything that it's cookie cutter, because also we don't send that kind of stuff. I'm an architect. Brandy has had a lot of experience. We are both investors here in the area. We know the developers, we know the history, we know the different locations, what value does it bring. So we will only show you the best properties in Riviera Maya. So contact us. Here's a QR. You will send it directly to the WhatsApp. And if not, you can also send us an email to hello@realestateamoramar.com,
Yeah.
or go to our webpage where we are constantly uploading properties that we really think the price is correct. So go to realestateamoramar.com.
Yeah. So, and then I think the important takeaway today is if you feel like you can't find what it is you're looking for, it's usually not you. It's about aligning your expectations with the reality of the market.
Exactly, and that's simple. We can help with that. So for our next live, stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, because we are showing really good options, lots for sale, with houses, with or without houses, with direct financing from the developer. That's one of the options that you will love. So for people that are looking for a 20-year investment, they are not ready to move here. They still have some time to come and live here because they still have work or whatever. At the end, the important thing is to secure the price of 2026, because as you know, there's always appreciation. So maybe on the next 5 to 10 years, the prices will not be the same. All right. So thank you for joining us, and see you in our next live.
Bye.
Let's see.